As we gather together, we acknowledge that the land upon which our church and homes exist is the ancestral land stolen from the people of the Shoshone Bannock, the Shoshone Paiute, Coeur d'Alene, Kootenai, and Nez Perce nations, along with many other tribes whose names have been lost in history. We acknowledge that our presence here today is founded upon the exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples. With this acknowledgement, we wish to demonstrate our ongoing commitment to the work of dismantling the legacies of settler colonialism. We honor indigenous peoples' connection to the land and support their right to sovereignty.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Welcome to this multi-generational back-to-school service of blessings and banned books. Gosh, you all look at this. Thank you, all of you who donated books. A lot of these books are also from our own church library, from some of our own personal collections. We are just so delighted to be surrounded by books this morning. We are also doing a blessing ritual later in the service. So if you have a backpack or a book bag that you brought to be blessed today, a binder, a laptop, anything, you are welcome to bring it on up here to the front. We have some bags and lunch boxes and backpacks already. And for our young friends who are down here making bookmarks and coloring, it's awesome. I love it. You are welcome down at any time. Thanks, Jasper, bringing it on up. That's fabulous. To come down here and color, and the playground supplies are in the back, and we have a lot of interactive stuff to do together today. Today's service is all about embracing the theme of liberating curiosity. So many creative hearts and minds helped put this service together today. A special thank you to our Director of Family Ministries, Emily Emerson Page, for all of the work that she does in helping liberate curiosity every single week. A special thank you to Deborah Smith, who helped write a lot of today's service, and Sharene Watsen serving as our celebrant, and to all of you who are here with popsicles and books. All of you made this service possible today. Because as Unitarian Universalists, we believe that part of our spiritual journey involves the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And we're so committed to that principle, that value, that we work hard to create spaces of exploration in our children's religious education, youth, adult religious education spaces, in worship and small groups, really anywhere we are gathered. In this community, we celebrate learning and knowledge and ideas, and most importantly, questions of any kind. You've heard me tell the story of a church that put a sign out that says, "Got questions? We've got more." And we make a commitment to each other and to our children and youth that we will always answer their questions with accurate, age-appropriate information. Any question. And if those questions don't have a definitive answer, because there are some questions in this world that don't have one single true answer, right? Well, then we'll help you explore all of the answers available to you. As Unitarian Universalists, we pride ourselves on creating communities of lifelong learning because we know that learning never stops, even when you finish traditional schooling. I was thinking to myself as I was preparing this service today, kids, that I have completed 24 grades of school, which is too many, if you're asking me. And some of it, yes, thank you for that laughter. And some of those grades were by choice, right? Some of the school that we do, that's part of our job as young people is to go to school. And then sometimes we choose to do more school and more grades after that. Can you believe that? I chose a lot more grades. But I think it's part because I, too, like so many of you, love learning and love asking questions and love seeking answers. And that's why we have all of these books up here today, because books are such an important and amazing way for us to learn new ideas, learn about new places and people, and experience the world and other people's stories. Who loves books here? Who loves books? Look around you. Yeah. It's okay if you don't love books, by the way. I have 2 members of my household who are like, yeah, fine. Books are fine. But, they're not the, lover. It's okay, right? We welcome all. It's all good. But I love books. And unfortunately, not everyone loves all the same books that we love. And not everyone supports our freedom to learn in the same way that we do here in this fellowship and as you use. And there are people in our state and across the country who are actively working to restrict learning in public schools, people who are banning books. Did you all know that, young people? There are people who are banning books, who say these books should not be allowed in libraries or in schools. And they're throwing out curriculum, and they're making it impossible for teachers to teach, and even more impossible for teachers to love and affirm all students and all families. The inspiration really for today's service came from a story that I read about a library, a small library in San Diego County, who for the month of Pride in June put out a very small Pride display of books. And the librarian expressed some regret that the display was not very robust. They'd been busy and they're a small library. And people came into the library and checked out every single book on display and then sent a note to the library saying that they would refuse to return those books until the library removed that content from the library. Yeah, in San Diego. Now, here's the good news. As you can imagine, because I know all of you would have done the same, the community responded by sending thousands of books to this little library, along with thousands of dollars for their collection. And still, that makes me really sad. The same books that we have up here are some of the same books that were on display at that library, particularly here's our LGBTQ gender love section over here. And, books like Tango Makes Three, for goodness sakes. I mean, books like this one. How many of you read Julian is a Mermaid? Yeah, it's great. It's about Julian who likes to dress up like his grandmother and her friends at the pool. So, it seems kind of ridiculous to me, but it also makes me very sad. And it really hurts my heart that people are trying to tell families and libraries and schools that their existence as it shows up in these books has no place in the world, right? They're trying to ban that existence from the world. And things like that are happening here in Idaho, too. So here are some of the things that have happened in the last couple years. The lieutenant governor formed a task force to, quote, examine indoctrination in Idaho education and protect young people from the scourge of critical race theory, socialism, communism, and Marxism. I'll let you have your own reactions to that headline. The Kuna School District places 25 books under restricted access. Nampa bans 24 books from district shelves, including It's Perfectly Normal over here in the corner, which is one of our texts for Our Whole Lives, our sexuality education curriculum. Conservatives, activists want to ban 400 books from Idaho public libraries. Concerned citizens of Meridian file a petition to completely dissolve the library system. And it goes on and on and on. And some of the impacts we've seen from that are that the Idaho Teacher of the Year in North Idaho left the state and left teaching because she was harassed. And she was harassed for her own personal views that she expressed on her own personal social media accounts, not in her classroom. She was a 4th grade teacher. And a NAMPA curriculum and teacher are threatened after teaching gender identity in a psychology class. So these are the ways these things are unfolding here in our state. And I see your faces, an alarm and concern for our children, for our youth, for our teachers. And so it really got us thinking about how we as Unitarian Universalists can play a role in countering this kind of extremism. Knowing that we live in the midst of this makes me feel so grateful for this fellowship, this community, for all of the ways that you show up in our larger community to counter all of these things, because as part of our deeply held faith, here we believe that learning and curiosity and questions should be free and open, and you should be able to express them and access them. Because this fellowship is a place where all stories matter, where we understand the differences among us and how they help us learn to love our neighbor, and how exploring all of our history helps us learn from our painful truths so that we can do better. So we wanted to do this service, this back-to-school themed service today, to honor all of the learning that we do in the world, and to remind you, okay, young people, this is especially for you. Especially for you, Greta and Conley, friends down there and out there. We want you to know that here, this place, this fellowship, is a place where you can always come to ask questions, to learn things, to get books that maybe you can't get in your school library, all right, and have adults who will always walk with you on your journey of learning together as we counter those destructive movements. So welcome. Welcome all of you. Welcome to our online community. Welcome to long-time members. Welcome to brand new members. Welcome to our children and youth, to this sanctuary of lifelong learning and liberating curiosity. I have a few announcements that I now need to share with you before we dive into the heart of today's service. I want to give a special thanks of gratitude to our hospitality team today: Kathy Sherman, Sue Langley, Eric Eagleston, and Marcine Austin. Thank you. So many of you are signing up to be part of our hospitality crew each Sunday. You can do so. The sign-up sheets are in our hospitality space. I also want to have a special moment of gratitude to all of the volunteers, led by the dedication and vision of Aaron Logan, who made our Martin Wilkie art show and retrospective beautiful yesterday. So can we please give them a hand? I see many of you here. It was just a really beautiful show. Martin's art is still hanging in the wings in our hallways, so feel free to travel down there and take a look at some of that beautiful art. A lot of it was sold, and many of you took some pieces home. Who won the buffalo? Was it you, Mary? Oh, I'm sorry. Carol, you won your own, but no. Liz Ratcliffe won the buffalo. Congratulations, Liz Ratcliffe. Don't forget that after the service today, we have a popsicle potluck. You can see the ice chests and bags already here filling up with popsicles. Everyone is invited to join us out in the courtyard for popsicles and conversation. And there's a lot of announcements today because we have a lot of wild and different things happening. I want to share with you a little bit about what is happening for our worship time in September. September 9th and 10th, Sunday, September 10th, is Pride Weekend here in Boise. And the 10th is the Pride Parade. So in honor of supporting and celebrating Pride, supporting our LGBTQIA+ community, in honor of our theme for that month of September, the practice of encountering others, we will not be holding in-person worship here. Instead, we are inviting you to worship at Pride. Your interfaith communities will be holding an early morning service in the park prior to the parade, and then you can go to the parade, you can march in the parade, you can watch the parade. That too is worship. And if you need to have a service, we'll be offering a recorded service online on Zoom. And our friends down at your Hollister United Methodist, they're having a service because they have a brand new minister, and they've invited us to come and join them live at 10:30 if you would like to go to a live church service. So you have a lot of options on that Pride weekend. Then the following weekend, September 17th, is our annual Water Communion Sunday, where you are invited to bring water from your life, from your travels, from your home, from the river, and we'll join together in collecting and blessing the holy waters of this community. And after that service, we're hosting a really fun connections fair, a way for all of our teams and committees and projects and programs to share with all of you what they do, and for folks to find new ways to get connected and involved in all that is happening here in the life of this congregation. And on that same Sunday, the 17th, it's a busy day here, friends, on that day, we're having photos for our new directory. You can take family photos, individual photos to update your photo, or get a new photo for a brand new printed church directory. So lots to do in September. We hope you will join us for all of that. As many of you know, each month we choose a local organization that aligns with our social justice mission to be our plate partner. And this month, that is Brown Like Me, with their ministries creating spaces for Black youth to come together, to meet mentors, to learn culture, and to be in community together right here in the Treasure Valley. There are many ways that you can make a financial gift to support the ministries of this fellowship and our plate partner. You can go online to our website at boiseuu.org. You can use the smartphone app, and of course your checks and cash are always welcome, and we have envelopes and drop boxes just inside these doors. In all of the ways that you give to this fellowship, with your treasure, with your books, with your time, we are so very grateful for your generosity. So today's service also gives us a glimpse into the life of our religious exploration program, what our children get to experience in the classroom on many Sundays. And so many of the songs and the structure of today's service is modeled after their classroom experience. And so we're going to begin with a hymn together this morning, a favorite that I understand that you all sing together in the classroom. Love Will Guide Us. So I will invite us all to rise in body or spirit and sing together, Love Will Guide Us.
At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in living rooms and ornate sanctuaries, many of our sibling Unitarian Universalists are also lighting a flaming chalice, reminding us that we are a part of a great community of faith. Today, we have a young chalice lighter with us and several readers. If you guys all would come up, that would be great. We invite children to light the chalice to recognize the children and youth in our community, our responsibility to them, and to offer them a haven for learning, exploration, and curiosity, and to honor the future we're building together. As Sophina Eagleston lights the chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you in our virtual community to light a chalice if you have one nearby, along with us this morning, then share in the chat where your chalice is lit. With our collective chalices lit in all our spaces, our children offer you this call to worship from our own Deborah Smith.
A chalice lit will grow and glow to light the faces that we know and light the pathways we will go.
A chalice lit is more than light. For us, it stands for something bright.
And shines and beckons on what's right for justice, love, and joy's delight. In the spirit of liberating our collective curiosity, come, let us worship together.
Thank you. You guys can keep those, or I can take them.
Beautiful.
You guys can go sit. Thank you.
Beautiful job, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you, Deborah Smith, for that wonderful chalice lighting. So I want to invite you to come down for like the story time for all ages part of the service. You are welcome to stay in your seats, but if you want to come on down. Come on down. You can grab a pillow, get comfy down here. We're going to begin our time for all ages a little bit differently today. We're going to begin with a reading. And this reading has been a guidepost for us to help us about a guidepost for how we think about our religious exploration classroom experience and building our program. And I want to tell you just a real quick thing about Angus MacLean. Angus MacLean was a Universalist who lived a long, long time ago, but many of us consider him to be one of our great ancestors of religious education, helping us think about how we do that as UUs. And one of the things that Angus MacLean taught was that we have to act our way into being different, into showing up differently in the world. We can't just think our way there. We have to act our way there. And that people, human beings, we make meaning together by all the ways that we interact together with each other, with adults, all the ways we interact with a multi-generational community of people of all ages. And wrapped inside that process, that's how we come to new levels of understanding and spiritual growth and learning. So Sunday mornings, as our children light our chalice and as you hear stories and you sing some of the songs we're singing today and do activities in your classroom, we try to create a space for our children and youth to experience wholeness and acceptance. Also, a goal we aim for here as we worship together in this sanctuary.
So the reading this morning reminds us how we can create that space. This is What Do Our Children Need on Sunday Morning, adapted from the Reverend Lowell Brooke.
They need a quiet candle and have a quiet moment to enjoy its mystery.
They need to sing a song, to hear their own voice and other voices joined together, and to feel the feelings that are stirred by music.
They need to hear a story and have the chance to share their own, remembering that we are each very different and very much alike.
They need to create something, expressing themselves, whether using words or materials, helps to bind the different parts of ourselves and lives together. That's what religion is.
They need to be with an adult who is interested in the world and who feels the privilege and responsibility of their trust, who is glad to be with them and regards them positively.
Into this safe and encouraging context, we find the courage to name our questions and ignite our curiosity.
This is how we build an understanding of the common threads of our identity and our history. It takes this essential loving embrace to move from education into the sacred work of faith and liberation.
Okay, now we're going to do our story. So if everybody wants to come over here by me, we'll have a little kind of story time. Bring your pillows or your bodies over if you'd like. Okay, the pictures are going to be up on the screen, but I'm going to be reading from here. So I'll kind of peek around at all of you. Part of our work of faith and liberation is creativity. Creativity teaches us how to make change, to take leaps of faith, to move from what we know into possibilities that light our hearts up. And our story this morning calls us into the power of creativity to make big changes. This story is What If, written by Samantha Berger, and the illustrator is Michael Curato. With a pencil and paper, I write and draw art to create many stories that come from my heart. But what if that pencil one day disappeared? I'd fold up the paper till stories appeared. And what if that paper was no longer there? I'd chisel the table and then carve the chair. And what if there wasn't a chair here at all? I'd chip and I'd peel at the paint on the wall. And what if there wasn't a wall anymore? I might build a story from the boards and the floor. Without any floor, I could still use the land. I'd sketch out a tale in the dirt with my hand. Without any land, I would still use the light. I'd invent shadows, stories, and the sun would ignite. If there was no light, I would still use my voice to sing out my stories, to chant and rejoice. If I had nothing, but I still had my mind, there'd always be stories to seek and to find.
That's a great story because it reminds us that no matter what people try to take away from us, we always have those stories inside our own minds and hearts and in our voices and in our bodies. So I want to tell you another quick story before we move into this next phase where you are going to give out some gifts to the congregation. And this is a story about a bookmark. I was here in church way back in 2019. Who remembers way back in 2019? When our intern at the time, Mary Beth, was leading the worship service. So I got the rare pleasure of getting to sit out there and just enjoy the service. And that also happened to be the day when the choir was singing and they were joined by our young friend Sylvia Strop, who was giving a solo that day. It was a beautiful day. And I reached into the seat back pocket of the chair in front of me. I think I maybe was pulling out a hymnal. I don't know what I was looking for. But then I found this bookmark in the seat back pocket. This bookmark. And I thought, well, that's really cute. I wonder where that came from. How long has that been in there? When was the last time we did bookmarks in church? And I was having all these thoughts in my head. And then I turned the bookmark around and I saw what it said on the other side. Who can read that for me? Jasper. You are amazing. You are amazing. So I, of course, kept this bookmark. And do you know where it lives? It lives on my desk on a clip right behind my computer. So every day I sit at my desk, I see these words made by one of our children. I don't know what child. You are amazing. So we are going to invite all of you to help us with a little art redistribution ritual. And we're going to share the art of the bookmarks. Some of you have been creating these bookmarks this morning. Some of you have been helping Emily create in class. I know Emily had a crew of helpers creating a bunch of bookmarks this past week. So each of you grab a few bookmarks. Sharene is handing them out from the basket there. If you have a bookmark you've created that you'd like to add to the basket, please do. And I want to invite you to walk around and hand them out. Give them to adults who are not related to you. Because you get to give them all kinds of gifts at home from school all the time. They get all the things that come home from school. But we want that other adults that you don't know to get a gift of art. Okay? Go to the back, go to the corners. Our beautiful adults, I'm sure we don't quite have enough bookmarks for all of the people who are here today, but rest assured that we will continue to make beautiful bookmarks to share with you in the weeks to come. Oh, did she not get a bookmark? Oh. Okay. These bookmarks are special because they were made here in our community by our young people and by some grown-ups who love you and support all of you. So wherever you put your bookmark, whether it's in a book or on a clip behind your computer, let these bookmarks be a reminder of the creativity and curiosity that you have access to all the time in all kinds of different ways, simply because those are the gifts of the human spirit. And let those bookmarks and your gifts remind you to always seek and find stories and create stories. And always remember, everyone say it with me, you are amazing. That's right, you are amazing.
If there's any kids that went and sat in their seats and want to come back up, please feel free to. If you want to stay where you are, that's totally fine too. Do whatever feels good for you. So each Sunday morning, religious exploration follows a specific flow inspired by Lowell Brooks' reading that we heard earlier. After lighting the chalice here in the sanctuary and then doing the story for all ages, children go to their RE classrooms. When they get there, they're asked to pick out a colorful mat or pillow to help that calls to them that morning, and then pick a spot around an altar customized around our service theme. The circle isn't always circle-shaped, as it expands and cozies up based on how many kids show up and absorbs the energy that each child brings. It's a visual reminder to the kids about what it means to make space for everyone. In their Sunday circle, they check in with each other, learn each other's names, and what's been on their minds during the week. It's a circle filled with laughter, with organic questions like, did you say you play Minecraft? I love that show too. Have you ever read the book? What's your favorite potato?
French fries. This is how it goes down.
Yes, this is it. The circle becomes the living roots of their faith formation experience, and it is made to hold all the joy and nuance of their lives.
And so after you debate your favorite potato or other favorite food or fruit or animal in the classroom, oftentimes you're asked to share what you remember from the story that you just heard in the sanctuary. So our children are taking that story with them into the classroom. And of course, I'm sure you remember all different details. I'm curious if you can share, what do you remember from the story we just saw together? Yes?
Is it about this kid that's just
No.
that has a lot of creativity, and they know what they would do if something disappeared?
Beautiful. Lots of creativity, and they know how they would use it if all of the creative tools disappeared. What else? Yes?
It kind of is like when we're on a long trip to go to like somewhere like Blackfoot, we normally get soda from a gas station. Like I want this soda, and she's like, if you don't, like, if it's not that, what if this is
So the analogy of like when I'm on a road trip and I really want a soda, but I might have to think of a backup plan if they don't have what I want. That's a good analogy. That's a very good analogy. What are some things that you took away from the story, grown friends? Anyone? This section over here. Somebody give me something. Yes, sir.
That we all have the tools we need to enjoy beauty.
We all have the tools we need to enjoy beauty. Thank you. This section. Yes.
So I think it has a lot to do with being able to adapt. Because nothing's permanent.
Nothing's permanent, and it has a lot to do with being able to adapt. Being able to carve those visions out of the desk. That's my favorite part.
Use what you have.
Use what you have. Use the tools you have. That's awesome. Okay. I know then after the story time, you sing a special song. And you sing the song that used to be our 7 Principles song and is now our 8 Principles song to the tune of our favorite song, Do, Re, Mi. Right? Yes? I'm saying things that are familiar to you. So we are going to sing it together so all of our grown friends can learn this fabulous song that we sing together, the 8 Principles song. So would you all stand for me? Would you all rise and body your spirit? The words, we sing the numbers. Remember, 1 each person. Okay, it goes like that. You remember the tune. The words will be up there on your screens. Okay, do your best, everybody. Do your very best. Here we go. 1, each person is important. You can to be kind in all you do. 3, we help each other learn. 4, and search for what is true. 5, all people have a say. 6, work for a peaceful world. 7, the web of life's the way. 8, we build with love for me and you. And we add some extra U's. Thank you. We're going to bring that song back and sing that a little bit more with one another. I'm curious to know that now that we have sung our 8 Principles song, you've refreshed your memory as to what the 8 principles are. What principles, just name one, did you hear in our story today? Each person is important. Be kind in all you do. We help each other learn. And search for what is true. All people have a say. Work for a peaceful world. The web of life's the way. We build with love. We search for what is true. Great. What else? Did you hear another principle in that story, in the story of the creations?
I'm just guessing each person has a say. I don't really.
Each person has a say, right? You have a say in what you create, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. What about you? Did you hear any other principles in there? How about principle number 1? What do you think about each person is important? Right? That inherent worth and dignity in all we create and all that we bring to the world. What were you thinking, Greta? The first one too? Yeah. Great. So now you see a little bit of how the classroom experience goes. And so the circle that is created has room for all ideas, all creations, all voices. So we create a circle that has room for all. Here in the sanctuary, many of you have experienced it before by opening up a time to share a little bit about our lives with each other. Because we recognize that when we create a space where we can share the hard things, the sorrows and the pain of our lives, and the beautiful things, the great joys and the milestones of our lives, we start to learn and recognize that other people share a lot of the same kinds of feelings and experiences that we do, and we get to support each other in moving through this life together, which sometimes is hard. Sometimes it's hard to kind of be a human in the world, And it's great to know that we have people who are showing up there with us. So this is a time where we share some joys and sorrows. So I have some joys and sorrows to share that were submitted by our grown-up community, but I'm wondering, friends, if you have any joys and sorrows you would like to share this morning. You don't have to. I'm going to give you and our young friends out there, if you have a joy or a sorrow you would like to share. Yes?
My joy is that I'm getting my pet axolotl tank today.
You're getting your what? Who?
My pet axolotl.
Your pet. Axolotl. Thank you. Thank you for helping me figure. Wow, your pet axolotl is getting a tank today. Awesome. I don't know what that is.
It's like, do you know, so like the visual things in Minecraft are like the flesh biome.
Oh, the pink things in Minecraft. Okay.
The things
That go in the water. Yeah, I know Minecraft, so I got that. Okay, thank you for explaining that to me.
like a few days ago, we got a fish from the fair.
We got a fish from the fair. Yeah, it's still alive. That's a joy that a fair fish is still alive. Any other joys or sorrows? Okay, so I'm going to share some of the joys and sorrows that were shared with me to share with all of our community. Let's continue with some of our joys of our community. I want to say a special happy birthday to Diana Barrero Lowe, who turned 80 this month. And to Rick Groff, who had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, friends. Any other August birthdays out there? Diane, happy birthday to you. That's it, there's Susan. Happy birthday, Susan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, August birthdays. And we're holding in our heart folks who have expressed the need to have some care and tenderness from this community, some prayer. We hold John Connors, who is doing well in rehab after lots of ups and downs and many additional surgeries. He's on a trajectory, a good trajectory. We hold our friend Morgan O'Hearn, who is having some trouble with depression and anxiety and all that is her life entails in caring for her mother-in-law and health issues, something to which so many of us can relate. We hold in celebration and joy the journey of Tom Von Alten, who completed his final round of immunotherapy for prostate cancer and had his venous catheter taken out and was excited to jump in the lake with his sailboard before August is done. And we hold with love and care and prayer Connie Johnston, as her husband was recently diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma and some fairly large lesions on his brain, and which means that some of his favorite joys, like eating and traveling, are now no longer joyful, or he's not able to do them. And the prognosis is uncertain. And so we open up this time to hold those folks in our hearts, hold those joys, hold all those sorrows. And invite all of you, if you are holding someone in your heart this morning, to speak their name aloud, write their name in the chat, that we might hold them with you. May the arms of this community, this multi-generational community, hold all of our joys and sorrows with a warmth to celebrate the joys and a tenderness to soothe our aching hearts. May we feel the love in the room, the love that surrounds us, and breathe and listen in the silence to our heart's own longing. Amen.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can go whoever you will. You can travel any country that your wild heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Some girls grow up to be strong and bold. Some boys are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead and some follow behind. We all grow in our own space and time. Some women love women, some men love men. Some raise children and some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your wild heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose a few special ones, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games. Seek out spirits kind and true. If you give this old world the very best of yourself, it will return the same to you. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country that your wide heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, but the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
So I haven't been able to get through singing this song once without tearing up. Mostly I think it's in gratitude for the ways my parents paved a new world for me to love and live in, for the ways I know I'm making space for my children to love and live at their best, and for the ways I know they'll surpass me and expand beyond me and make this world better for those who follow behind them. Thank you to the Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church for the invitation to learn and share this song. And thank you, Fred Small, for writing it.
That's such a great song, isn't it? That's really the most important message that we want to share with all of you and want to remind ourselves, is that you can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you wish to love, and that the only thing that matters at the end are the words and your deeds and the love you leave behind.
With back to school season upon us, our children and families in our community are going through a bit of a shift right now. New classrooms, new teachers, some at new schools, new friends and learning groups, new curricula and expectations, new schedules. So much change and adjustment, and with it, a lot of extra energy and exhaustion. And here, in this fellowship, we embark on a new program year with new monthly spiritual themes and new community events, new small groups, new justice actions needed, and new adult RE schedules. We are adjusting to a new rhythm of the year after the summer break and adventures. In all that newness and change, we strive to create a welcoming, lifelong learning environment where our children, youth, families, adults, elders, all of us, feel free to embrace who we are, where we feel the flow and ease that welcomes all questions and encourages playful exploration. We learn our faith by being active and creative in our experience of it. And stories are at the heart of so much learning. They are a direct access point into our humanness, into community, opening our minds, listening to others, and sharing ourselves. Stories help us see and understand ourselves more deeply and the lived experience of other people, which expands our ability to love and include, to widen our circles. And so many children are at risk of being robbed of that when learning is restricted and books are banned. So many of us have already been robbed of that under the stagnating influence of systems of white supremacy and all frameworks of oppression.
So we want to push back against all of the ways that books are being banned, all of the frameworks of oppression, and learning is being restricted. And now comes this moment of a book communion. Yeah, another communion in this church, right? That ritual that we get to partake in together. We want to give all of our young people a chance to come and choose a book to take home. And actually, we are going to invite you to choose 2 books. One to take home and keep for your own library, and one that we want you to give away to whomever you want to give it to, a friend, a teacher, a person on the street, whoever you wish. Okay? So, come on up. There are books everywhere. There are books on the floor over here. There are books on the table. There are books behind me. There are books behind Sharene. Come and take a look. And while you're choosing, I might come around to some of you and ask you what book you chose so that we can share with some of our grown-up friends some of the books that you all are choosing. We all wondered about maybe how long this moment might take because there's so very much to choose from. I'm going to get out of your way. Is that the one you chose? Victoria, what book did you choose?
It's called Queer.
It's called Genderqueer. Did you know it's a graphic novel? It's awesome. I have a copy. Good choice. I like it. Conley, are you reading the book before you choose it? No? Is that the one? You're just looking to see? We have graphic novels. What did you choose, madam?
Both the Harry Potter.
2 Harry Potters. Does it surprise you to know that Harry Potter books are banned in some schools and libraries?
God. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. So good job choosing Harry Potter. No, we're not going to fight over books. We're not going to fight over books. There's plenty of books to go around. What's your name? Scout. Scout. What book did you choose? You chose 2 books. Tell us what you chose.
I choose the...
I'm going to hold it up for everybody. Proudest Blue?
The Proudest Blue and Hair Love.
The Proudest Blue and Hair Love. Good choices. I love those. What did you choose, sir?
I don't know.
This one says, Ohana means family. Means family. Ohana. That's a word in native Hawaiian. And what's this one? Let's see. Oh, this is a book by U.S. Poet Laureate Joy Harjo called Remember. Oh, I bet the pictures in there. It won an award for its pictures, so I bet the pictures in there are really cool. Yeah. What'd you choose, Jasper?
Want to say it? No.
Jasper, I love it. Sex is a funny word. It really is. Do you know, though, Jasper, we use this book in our whole lives program. So lots of our kids have this book. So cool. Good choice. Avery, what did you choose? My heart fills with happiness, and Alma and how she got her name. Good choices. Those are really awesome. Can you gather those? Okay. When you have your books, you can take them back to wherever you are seated. And let me just offer this up, friends. The books will be here when the service is over, so if you need to make a switcheroo, that's just fine too. Okay. Elaine, what'd you choose? Elaine.
I chose Are You There, God It's Me, Margaret.
Are You There, God It's Me, Margaret? Who read that book when they were Elaine's age? Oh, that's so good. What did you choose? Oh, Love in the Wild. Look at that. That's with rainbow. That looks beautiful.
She wants to tell you something about her bookmark.
Oh, tell me about your bookmark.
I didn't know it was going to go away.
You know what though? So you wanted to keep your bookmark?
She didn't know.
Well, you can keep your bookmark. That's always okay here.
Somebody has it.
Oh, does anybody remember who has this young, beautiful human's bookmark? It has her name on it. What's your name?
Ruby.
Ruby is so sad. She was really hoping that she could keep her bookmark. She didn't know that it was going to be given away. Ruby, look, right over there. Hey, Ruby, that was very brave for you to ask for your bookmark back. Okay, friends. I have one more story to share with you today. I know we told a lot of stories, but that's kind of the point to today's service, right? And I'm going to invite you to help me with this story, so I have some questions for you throughout this story. I want you to imagine that it is the first day of school. Some of you just started school a few days ago, right? So this is easy to imagine. I want you to imagine that it's the first day of school and you are so excited to go to school that you gobble down your breakfast and you grab your backpack. This is my backpack. And you are so focused on getting to see your friends that you don't even notice that your backpack is really light as a feather. And so you get yourself to school. Maybe you take the bus or you walk with your parents or you have a bike parade. I know some of you are part of a bike parade to school. And when you get to school, before you get in the classroom, you take a moment to look in your backpack because you're excited on the first day of school. Your backpack is always filled with some new things. New notebooks with crisp pieces of paper. What else is new in your backpack, Conley? Pencils, perfectly sharpened. Nothing better than a perfectly sharpened pencil. Yeah. What about you? What's in your backpack? Back to school backpack. Lots of colored pencils. Yeah. Anybody have like brand new crayon boxes that they always get at back to school time? Sometimes our teachers have those. So you reach down into your backpack, all the way down, and way down at the bottom, and you pull out a feather. What do you think a feather is doing in your backpack? You're wondering to yourself, where's all my stuff? Why is there a feather? Who put this feather in there? What is the meaning of this feather in my backpack? And you're really curious now. And that curiosity takes your mind on a little bit of a journey to take this feather out and study it. Everyone, imagine you have a feather in your hand. You're studying it closely. Maybe you notice that it has some like soft parts at the bottom there, and the end is kind of a little sharp. It's really soft. Gets a little more pointed at the tip. Some of our feathers, this one just leans over. And you blow on the feather. Oh, but you catch it. Right? And if you follow your curiosity, you might discover that scientists have done experiments with feathers and stones. This is a stone from Greta's backpack because Greta has stone in her backpack and I have a feather. With feathers and stones to see which one hits the ground first. And you think, really? They have to study that? I mean, isn't it obvious, right? The heavy stone hits the ground first. But if scientists learned that if they did this experiment in a vacuum where there was no air, the feather and the stone would hit the ground at the same time. At the same time. It's all about gravity. And one early scientist who spent a lot of time studying and learning and theorizing about gravity was Galileo Galilei. And so maybe your mind goes down the curiosity ramp to start thinking about Galileo and his theories. And he lived a long time ago, and he was persecuted. He got in a lot of trouble for his ideas about the universe and the structure of the universe, because you know what Galileo said? Galileo said, we are a sun-centered solar system, not an earth-centered system. And before he said that, everybody believed that the earth was the center of the universe. But Galileo got in so much trouble for discovering that with all of his experiments. It wasn't just a thought, he really studied it. And do you know who was the most mad about his ideas? The church. The church, not this church. A different church. Because his ideas got in the way of what all the things the church believed about creation and all of the rules that it had set up about how the world works and how human beings came to be, and that the earth, it was the center of the universe. So they made Galileo sign a paper denying his own ideas and discoveries. He had to lie. And probably that set back progress for a long time. And maybe after thinking about all the ways the church intervened on important ideas about how the world works, your curiosity takes you further down the journey as you stare at this feather to discover that the bird whose feather you are holding in your hand evolved from what? A dinosaur. A ginormous dinosaur. That is amazing. Do you think a dinosaur feather is heavier than a bird feather? It's probably a lot bigger too, huh? And to some people, that idea threatens their entire way of thinking and their system of belief. Some believe the earth is only a few thousand years old, and that humans are meant to use the earth for themselves and no other creatures. And so for nearly 100 years, some people have been trying to ban the teaching of evolution from school, including here in Idaho, not all that long ago. But maybe you're not interested in physics or evolution just right now. But maybe you love penguins. Yes, you love penguins. And these penguins are interesting birds. They have a lot of feathers, but they don't fly. So why do you suppose a penguin? They're your favorite animal. So why do you suppose a penguin has feathers, but it doesn't fly? Sometimes they can't fly and they still have feathers. But why? What are those feathers for? To keep them warm. Right. Just like sometimes we humans have comforters that are stuffed with feathers to keep us warm in the winter, because feathers are really warm. And some people don't want you to know this, right? And if you're really curious, you can find out that there are pairs of male penguins together, 2 male penguins together, who raise the babies, who care for the eggs and raise the baby penguins together, keeping them safe and warm. And there are some people who don't want you to know that story, but that's like one of the best stories out there. It's my favorite. And Tango Makes 3. And that story has been banned from schools and libraries. And maybe your curiosity takes you down the road to other ways of understanding the world besides science. Maybe you love poetry. And you learn from Emily Dickinson that hope is a thing with feathers. And it makes you wonder, how is hope like a thing with feathers? Is that true. How might that be true? And from Emily Dickinson, you follow your path of learning, to Maya Angelou, who wrote, I know why a caged bird sings. And you wonder, why do we put birds in cages? Why do we put animals in cages? Why do we put humans in cages? What kind of songs are sung by those in cages? Can we hear those songs? What if we are haunted by those songs? And your curiosity has led you to ask so many questions of people who don't like questions. They like answers, but only their own answers. And so while our curiosity can be tamped down, it cannot ever be taken from us because it is in our nature to be curious. And while they can ban books, they cannot banish our innate yearning for justice. That innate yearning pulses through our blood and the blood of our ancestors, maybe even the blood of dinosaurs. So take a look in your backpacks next time. There you have everything you need, whether it is a feather, a stone, a book, or a notebook. You have your liberating curiosity. And if you forget, you always have your mind, where there will always be stories to seek and to find. And now is the time for blessing. To remind ourselves, we are going to bless our stories and our backpacks and our school supplies. So friends, I invite you to come up here if you have a backpack, and come sit with your backpack if you like, or hold your book in your lap. And put yourself in a comfortable space for blessing. Blessing is a kind of like a prayer that we collectively together, all of us can bless, that we offer the world to imbue ourselves and our things with some of what is important to us. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery of the universe, we don't always understand, yet to be discovered. As we shift into all the transitions and changes in the start of the new year, school year, we bring and offer these collective blessings for all the tools and the people that give us what we need to explore, create, and learn. We bless our books, these books that teach us our history and science, the books that share about different cultures and faraway places. We bless the ones that teach us about gender and how babies are made and families, and that love is love is love. We bless the books that tell hard truths and sad stories that help us understand one another's pain, the books that teach us who we are, and the books that open up magical worlds of possibility. May they be used to grow our minds, our imagination, our compassion, and our quest for justice. We bless our backpacks. May they remain strong for their job of holding all that we need to learn. Our book bags, may their straps never break, their padding never give out, their zippers never jam. May they never be forgotten in strange places. And may the burdens in them be light. And we bless our art supplies with gratitude for the colors they share, reminding us of the bright colors of the world around us. May they be used to create beautiful pieces of art that show the wonder of creation and each creator's imagination. We bless our notebooks. Who has a notebook? There they are. We bless our notebooks and our folders and our binders and, of course, our Chromebooks and other laptops and computers, all of which help us do the work of learning for all of those handouts and worksheets and blank pages and screens where we can fill them with our own thoughts and stories and prayers and sermons. For the wonders of technology and all that it invites us to explore, May they help us keep our thoughts and work together and keep them from getting lost. We bless our calculators and math tools and rulers and protractors for their help with quick equations. For the math that is the building block of all things, may they help us learn how things fit together in our world. And we bless our teachers who create spaces of lifelong learning filled with love. Our teachers who fill our minds with cool ideas and nurture our spirits. Our teachers who protect us while we are in their care, and who do all of this against sometimes impossible obstacles, and still who manage to bring so much joy into the world. May our teachers feel the support and love of this community, holding them up, here to offer care and compassion and a place to rest their weary souls. We bless our principals and counselors, custodians, nurses, bus drivers, classroom aides, cafeteria workers, all those who take care of our students. May they receive the support they need and honor they deserve as they live into their calling to educate this generation. We bless our parents and grandparents and caregivers for all of your support and encouragement in all that we do, who spend countless hours helping with homework, volunteering, driving in carpools. Bless your sacred work. And finally, we bless all of you, our students of all ages from pre-K to graduate school. We bless our students and this whole community of lifelong learners for your enthusiastic embrace of curiosity, for ways that learning sometimes challenges us. May the care of this community strengthen your bodies, minds, and spirits throughout the school year, that your knowledge might grow and your imaginations soar with new creations and dreams. Bless your sacred work. And in the words of our community blessing, may our minds be open to new learning. May our lips bring truth into the world. May our hearts know love and our hands do the work of justice. May we always welcome our liberating curiosity. Amen. You are ambassadors for liberating curiosity in the world, because then that means that you have a special light inside of you that you can share with others. You can share that light of curiosity, that light of divinity, that light of learning inside of you. And so we're going to sing about that light for our closing song. I'm going to invite us all to rise in body or spirit and sing together, "This Little Light of Mine." invite you to place your hands over your heart for our closing blessing. Never let your light stop shining, building a world of joy, justice, blessing, and liberating curiosity wherever you may be. Let's sing that first verse one more time. This little light. Go in peace, friends. Go in peace and popsicles. Yes, ma'am.